This is my saddle, and what I have in the contents of these 2 bags, I can climb any tree that I want to hunt out of. I'm Scott Kurtenbach, and this is the Halfline Climbing System. Let me show you how it's done. After years of experimenting with various products and techniques, we finally dialed in the perfect climbing system. Say goodbye to bulky climbers, sticks, heavy ropes, and unnecessary hacks. And say hello to a method that is lightweight, quiet, easy to use, and most important, safe. It's the Halfline Climbing System. So what is the Halfline system? The Halfline is a rope system that utilizes a climbing technique called SRT, or single rope technique, which is very popular among arborists and rock climbers. We've adapted this technique along with our rope and preset paracord loop design to become New York saddle hunters' main style of climbing trees for hunting. Simply put, we're girth hitching the climbing rope to the tree we want to hunt from and using mechanical devices to safely climb and descend on the rope. This method is lightweight, efficient, and incredibly secure, making it ideal for mobile hunters. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Halfline Climbing System, which comprises of 40 feet of rope, a Virgo belay device, 30 inches of 8mm hitch cord, a CT quick roll hand ascender, and a Footloop. So if this is something that interests you, you can go to NewYorkSaddleHunter.com, where you can buy the full kit, or you can buy individual components based on your needs. As hunters, we all engage in some form of post-season scouting and pre-season prep work. For those of us who use rope techniques, we often identify specific trees and install preset paracord loops using a throw ball. These paracord loops allow us to return later and quickly set up for our hunt.
Most of the guys that I know, they all do a lot of preseason, postseason scouting. I think the only difference that sets us apart as rope climbing saddle hunters is what we leave behind. When we go into an area and we scout it all out, we pick the tree that we want to come back to, but now we'll go that extra step. Okay, we'll throw the throw ball, we'll install our paracord loop, we'll even climb up it. So as if maybe you got to trim a limb here, a limb there, take a stub out. The thing is I don't want any surprises on the morning of my hunt. I want to just roll up to my tree, put my system on the paracord loop, pull it up and over, and up I go.
One of the questions we get is, you know, you're not going to throw a throw ball in the dark, and no, we never throw a throw ball in the dark. If there was a situation, maybe I'm hunting with a buddy or something like that, and I want to go in totally blind, I want to go in the dark someplace and be completely mobile, and I'm not utilizing a preset paracord loop in a spot that I've pre-scouted, what we've been doing is two-tether climbing. There's a lot of videos out there, guys that are really proficient, and you can look those up and check them out, but we still utilize our Halfline system to do that. You know, just kind of like we're SRT climbing, and we'll take our tether, which most everybody also has their tether. We'll utilize our tether, and the only thing we add to it is a foot stirrup. And the foot stirrup weighs nothing, there's no bulk. I always have it with me, and it enables me to two-tether climb. It's more work than your SRT climbing, but it's a nice plan B because there's really no additional gear that I have to have except the stirrup. And the stirrups they're inexpensive, they're light, I have it with me all the time. It's like I don't even know that I have it, and I always got a plan B to get into a tree.
So let's assume this is the tree that we're going to hunt today. I have my preset paracord loop, has been set up months ahead of time already. We're coming in, we're going to hunt this tree. With our preset loops, this is how we store them. So these little S-beaner clips, you can use anything really, any kind of clip, but these S-beaners are pretty nice. So we put these on all of our systems, on all our preset loops. All right, we just tie a loop in each end and then attach it with an S-beaner. So once we get our paracord loop off the tree, I want to go ahead and start deploying my climbing system. Okay, now the beauty of this system, this Halfline system, is that now that we are carrying half the rope. We normally used to carry 75 feet of rope. Okay, now we get away with carrying 35 to 40 feet of rope. This is 40, and this is where these preset loops come into play here, because this actually ends up being that additional 25, 30 feet of line. This is what gets me up over the limb and comes back down and girth hitches. So we're going to go ahead, unclip from our paracord loop, and we're going to clip in to our climbing line, like so. I'm going to take the other end. This is your 5-inch eye, and with this attachment point, so now what we're going to do is drop this loop down through that and then clip in. We're going to pull the one end up over the limb, and then it's going to come right on down, and it's going to thread through that fixed eye. And then we can girth hitch this system right from the ground. We tend to do when we set up our spots, we like to keep everything kind of clean at the base of the tree, remove all the vegetation. So we'll do that when we're scouting out an area, so it's not getting hung up on any sticks and whatever else might be at the bottom of that tree. Knowing now that I have everything cleaned out, I can pull this right up. I can let it deploy onto the ground, or if I choose to, I can kind of coil it in my hand. Keeps it a little bit more manageable. Okay, now we'll just follow that right on up. And now with that second attachment that holds that loop off at a right angle, and we just thread it right on through, like so. Threads on through, and right on up. All right, and then that'll go right on up the rest of the way. All right, so we'll girth hitch that right to the limb. And now you're ready for climbing. Now at this point, what I'll tend to do, I'll unclip this end. Now I have one rope that I can tie off my pack with. So now when I go up, I've got this heavier line to retrieve a heavier item like my pack. And then I have a lighter line. You could tie your bow to this. You can tie an extra bag if you were bringing some camera supplies up or whatever it may be. The nice thing is that you have multiple options now to do one trip up the tree, and then you can have as many items as you need on the ground, and everything, by the time you get up, set your platform, everything will come up with you that's attached to those lines. Once all my items are up in the tree with me, okay, everything gets coiled up and it'll get put in my pack. So this way there's no lines hanging on the ground. It could end up being like a scent wick because your hands are touching it and stuff like that. So you wouldn't want to leave these at the base of the tree. Okay, so now we're ready to put the system on the rope. My pack's tied off, say my bow's tied off. You can do it in any order, it really doesn't matter. So whatever comes out first. I have a CT quick roll hand ascender, and it's got the Footloop on it, okay? So that would go on the rope, depress it, and that's it. Now it's set on your rope. It's one direction, so it goes up, and then when you go to put pressure on it, it bites in, just like so. Okay, so bring her back down. Okay, next item out of my bag. Now this is the Virgo by a company called Trango. All right, this is the belay device that you're going to actually use as your ascender. It's going to get you up the tree. It's going to work in conjunction with your CT quick roll. All right. Now there's an arrow on this device inside the body that shows you the direction of the rope. All right. So this would be open. That would be closed. All right. So you want your carabiner hole to sit off to the right-hand side of the device, and that's the device open, and this is your brake. All right, so you just take that and you thread it in. The arrow's pointing up, so of course where your rope goes up, you want that to end up off the top of your device, sits through, and then like so, you close it. Same thing, now that is locked on there. And how that's gonna go is it'll travel up your rope, and every time you go to sit back in it, it locks up, okay? Okay, now I can go ahead, take my carabiner, I can put it through this device, like so. All right, you can put some weight into it, and as you can see, that's holding your body weight. All right. The nice thing about this is that when I take my final item out, and this is a must. All right, this is 30 inches of 8mm hitch cord, eye to eye. All these items manufacturers recommend that every one of these items gets backed up. So whether you have the Trango, whether you have the Mad Rock Safeguard, or if it's the Gree 2 by Petzl. So they should all be backed up, every one of these devices. The reason that we've chosen this device is because it has this space back here. So when we tie our hitch cord lays in, the two legs will go in here. So it has a nice little home back here where it sits, and it's out of the way of the braking system. And the two kind of complement one another. All right, so once I have these two items on, I'm gonna go ahead, and this is where we get the redundancy in our safety, because now we're gonna have two hitches that work in unison to one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and tie a Knut hitch here. So I'm gonna leave about 7 inches or so hanging off the end here. Make 4 coils, 1, 2, 3, 4 coils. All right, I'm gonna come around one more time, and then I'm just gonna create a bite. So I'm not gonna complete that all the way around as a 5th coil. I'm just gonna come halfway around, make a bite, take the top leg, come across on a diagonal, and the bottom legs, that's kind of, I'm all thumbs here. The bottom leg is gonna come around the other leg and go through that bite that you made. Pull them tight and down. You want them both even, okay? If they're not even, you can just loosen this up, and you can spin some of these coils back whichever way till you get both legs, they add up evenly. Now, the way you want to end this knot is basically what you're seeing here. So you want your 4 coils, and then you want your 5th down below it. It's probably about 1.5 inches to 2 inches below it, okay? That's key with the Knut hitch. This half coil is actually the tending feature in this knot. So as you go up, when your mechanical hits the bottom of this friction hitch, okay, it's gonna push it up, and then this half is gonna tend those 4 coils right on up, like so. And then when you go to sit back, it locks right up, and it's gonna hold you. So that's pretty important when you're tying this. It's just to make sure that you're right in your application with it, okay? So once we get to that point, we're gonna go ahead and open up our carabiner. And we're gonna feed both of these legs in right on the back side, like I was saying before. The reason for this single plate is these 2 legs sit right in here perfectly, okay? Rides in there really nice. All right, but what I wanted to show is that when I go to descend, and I'll do it from up top, but you'll be able to see it better here. When we go to come down, you want one hand on the brake, and you want your other hand just on top of this knot, and just kind of tending this knot. So as I come down, I want to just put a little bit of pressure and tend this knot at the same time as I'm coming down, all right? Because of course, if I let go of the knot, all right, you're not coming down, all right? Because now the friction hitch takes over, all right? Now you can't break it loose, and then you would have to start your descent over again. Just be mindful that you do have to have two hands on this system to come down. One's tending your friction hitch, the other one's tending the brake handle on the Virgo. So I'll show you that again. As we go to come down, you want to have just like two fingers even on top of that hitch, just tending that hitch. So as you come down, like I said, if you were to let go, the friction hitch is going to take over, and that'll lock you up. And that's where that redundancy comes in too. Like if anything were to ever happen, if this ever got compromised, you know, and you went no brake system, all right, your hitch cord is taken over. And like I said, you know, safety is always going to be the #1 priority, and that's the reason why we back a mechanical up with a rope hitch. All right, this clip here, if you're not mindful, you let go of that clip, just like a carabiner clip, yeah, it's going to make noise. So I would squeeze that in, come up, put my rope through, and then carefully let the gate go so it's not snapping back. Now I'm going to show you how this all works with a Footloop. So we're going to do some leg power here. You don't have to be a guy who's superior upper body strength or this or that, or a strong set of six-pack abs, anything like that, okay? Best way to get this on is just sit in your saddle, all right, get your knees up, okay? Make sure, you know, gravity's gonna kind of put you where it needs to go so you're not swinging one way or the other. Then you can go ahead, pull your foot up, get it in that loop, and you can sit there and you can adjust it, whether you gotta have more or less. All right. So now I'm ready. Now everything's loaded. I'm ready to start climbing. All right. I'm gonna reach up. I wanna grab a hold of my hand ascender. I wanna take a bite on this rope. I tend to just, if I am using a Footloop, I'll just squeeze it. You can go around your hand one time too to get a better grip if you want to. All right. But you basically, sometimes I see guys, they keep their leg out in front of them and they're kind of pushing out that way. Get that leg up under your butt, all right? And then just like you would step up on a stair or a ladder or whatever, as you're stepping up, you're pulling your slack, okay? And then you would bring that leg up and go for your next bite. Same thing, you can even readjust your hand again and then just step up. It's that simple. Leg comes up, arm goes up, step up. So as you go for another bite up the tree, all right, if your leg is on it, you can't move it, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I always keep my one hand on the hand ascender, all right? Because I'm helping my body. So as I push up, as I step up, it's almost like stepping up a ladder, all right? I wanna lift with this and kind of pull my slack out with this hand, put one against the tree, all right? And it's this motion, okay? So now for my next bite, as I come up with my leg, I'm going up with my hand as well. Get the leg underneath you and step up, all right? So it's just this sequence where you're gonna move that leg and that hand, the opposite hand at the same time. So as the leg goes up, the hand goes up. Then step up, step up. Now I also want to show you how we come down. All right, we don't need our hand ascender anymore, so we can go ahead and take that off, okay? We can wrap that up, put that in our bag. It's out of our way. One hand's on the brake, the other hand's up above your knot, all right? And you work them in unison. And you come right on down. That's simple. This is the other scenario with the Halfline system without the Footloop. This is kind of my go-to. This is what I'm doing 100% of the time. It's just you're using more of a hip thrust technique as you're going up with this. You're on a mechanical advantage, all right? So it's not like you're pulling your body weight up the tree. Some guys prefer putting 2 hands on the rope, wrapping their bottom hand, all right? And then from that point, hip thrusting up, all right, like so, all right? That's one way you can do it. I always keep one hand on the hand ascender. I mean, it has this really nice ergonomic built-in handle, and then one hand on the rope. So one hand on the handle, one hand on the rope, okay? And then just hip thrust up. You know, your feet are kind of like right at hip level. So you almost want to be, if you sit up, you want to be in this L formation, and then just bend your knees, all right? Okay, you want to lean. So once you grab, you want to lean back, and then I'm just going to thrust my hips forward and pull down on the rope at the same time, and then it looks like that. Legs are horizontal, okay? Thrust my hips forward and pull down with my arms. And it doesn't have to be, you'll see the more you do it, you won't be as dramatic as you're going up. So it's just basically that movement, okay? Take another bite.
Oh, hey, Andrew. I didn't know you were hunting this spot.
Yeah, man, come on.
Joey D told me it was okay to hunt your spot here.
That fucker.
You know, it just came up at like a nice, easy pace. And, you know, you're up to hunting height in anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes at 20, 25 feet without breaking a sweat. You know? You could probably get your whole system soup to nuts by the time you tie your rope, pull your rope up, girth hitch, climb up, pull your pack up, set your bow, 5 to 7 minutes, you know. You know, if you're a guy like Andrew sets all his camera gear up then too after that. He's more on that 10-minute mark, 12-minute mark. You can see right here where I'm girth hitched to this limb, okay, that's a 6-inch diameter leader coming off this oak tree, okay? And if you're feeling a little uneasy even with something like that, okay, when I set this tree up, I have that option to go around the entire trunk as well. Okay, so it's, you can isolate a limb or you can isolate the trunk. That's totally up to you. That's your comfort range, what you feel is best. If, like you said, this here, in this union, this crotch, I could pull a Volkswagen off the ground with that thing, man. You ain't breaking that, okay? But, you know, I've got a lot of experience in tree climbing and stuff like that. I've been doing it for half my life. So for me, yeah, I can look at a 3-4 inch limb and I can tell, like, yeah, that's plenty strong, you know? And also knowing the species too. But if you have any doubts, like I said, you have that option where you can girth hitch the entire trunk. Then forget it, man. All right, folks, I have to leave now. Andrew's kicking me out of his spot. So I'm not allowed back here ever again. We won't tell him that I killed a 140 here though last year. We'll keep that a secret just between us. Okay, last but not least, we want to go ahead and just break down the rest of our system. So we're going to take our Knut hitch off. Okay, unclip out of our Virgo. All right, take your Virgo back off, all right? And then just, that's it, take it off, and that's it. And then that just gets stored in your bag. Last but not least, your rope. So before you go and pull your rope out, remember to hook this back up, because this is completing the loop, all right? So now I can go and I can pull the system right out of the tree. ahead and I can take that off. All right. And voila. Okay, clip back into your S-beaner. There's your loop. Back on the tree, so we don't have to worry about wind blowing this thing. Like so. Now I'll just fold up my rope, and then this will go right back in my bag, ready for another hunt. You can kind of coil this up in any way you see fit. These bags have ample room in them. I just get it, stuff everything in, and zip it right on back up. Ready for the next hunt.
Listen, Scott and I are very approachable. You can reach out to us in the comments section of YouTube. You can send us an email. You can go on New York Saddle Hunter Forum on Facebook, send us a private message. We love to help guys out. If you have any questions, just ask. We'll try and do the best we can. You know, we've even helped people sending back videos and stuff when they weren't sure of how to do things. Anything we can do to help you, just let us know.
So once again, thank you for your support, and climb safe.